for this trip. All the details at WMMS.com. You can qualify there. You can qualify here on the show. I'm going to be out all weekend long qualifying people out around Portage Lakes. 5-night trip for 2. Fly out, put you up, throw you $1,000. Do whatever you want to with that. All right, but you got to qualify first. So be caller 10, and you will one step closer to that trip to Hawaii from Kona Brewing Company. Good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
I met Alan.
Did you?
I gave him marijuana.
Oh, great.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
I got hooked at a hooky-low on the beach the other day. The hooky-low date was quite sedate in the Polynesian way. A good cow and a foley-how and a jug went round and round.
Alan, I'm at Dano's in Portage Lake right now. Aren't you doing an appearance here soon? Why, yes. Thank you for asking. You go to WMMS.com, by the way, and all the details will be there for you. But I got a couple of spots on Saturday. Sunday, I'm going to be at Dano's. Saturday, I'm going to be at the Ramp from 3 to 4, and then the Sandbar from 4:30 to 5:30. And there's a couple of appearances later in the month, too. We're doing the finals of this on the 29th of this month. That's going to be at the Upper Deck Bar and Grill. And we're going to have 40 people in all, provided everybody shows up. You know, that's the thing with these kinds of events. When you rely on everybody who qualified to show up, you're usually not going to get the full bug. So we're going to end up with 40 qualifiers, and then one of you will win that trip to Hawaii. So I'm excited to try to get you there. Guardians baseball tonight, by the way. Shout out to our own Bill Squire, who, if you're watching the live stream, you'll notice he's wearing the jersey of White Sox legend Jim Thome, which I take as a personal comfort and compliment. But the Guardians over the Royals last night, 8-5 was the final, and so they're hoping, obviously, to do it again tonight. It's the second of 3, provided that the weather can hold out. I don't know what's going on out there now, but all of the forecasts have been a little murky. So we'll roll out around 6:05. That's your pregame. First pitch set for 6:40. And then they'll wrap that series tomorrow afternoon. They'll head to Miami to play the Marlins for the weekend. They'll come back up, play the Reds, go back up even further, play Toronto. And then mid-month, they'll be back to host the Mariners. So we have Mary on the laptop still?
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
We do hear you. Another meltdown there with the engineer. Did he zero in specifically what was going on, or it was undeniably a software thing?
It's a software thing.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
that, yeah, that's all he said. And I mean, you heard him when we asked him if there was anything we can do, and he said no.
Yeah.
So it's just I'm so frustrated. Like, this is.
I can see it on your face.
So far from ideal. It's not even funny. And I'm sitting here like, are my dreams worth it? Like,
your dreams are always worth it.
What am I doing in this goddamn city?
Are my dreams worth it because you're on a laptop?
Because of everything. Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy.
Nothing good comes easy, baby. You know this. You know this.
I know.
You want it easy?
Yes.
Nobody moves to New York so it'll get easier.
I understand that. Actually, no, I don't. Because I did move to New York so that it would get easier.
How?
I mean, ultimately.
Mary, did you know it's more expensive there?
I did not know that. I didn't know it was expensive. I didn't know the parking was hard to find. No, I'm saying that the move here was so that things eventually are easier. But like, this is just.
But you've been there 6 months. What's the schedule of eventually?
I can't pick when whoever is supposed to see me sees me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Then why are you mad now?
I'm mad now because I can't hear you well, and it sounds like crap on my end, and the friggin' I can't hear anything you play. I can't hear any of the commercials. I don't know what's going on.
I understand. It's frustrating. I understand, but But the end result is that the audience hears all of us.
Right. I understand that. But it doesn't make it any less annoying. Oh, I got an engineer coming in here. Hold on. I'll be
Okay.
right back. Bye.
All right. She's like jumping on these guys as they're walking by.
Ladies
Well, let's
and
see what
gentlemen,
happens.
We are experiencing technical difficulties.
I mean, I guess we're not.
Stand
We've.
by.
I mean, we can just keep going, and then if
Yeah,
you
of
can jump
course.
on, you can jump on.
Hey, listen, we adapted and Bill figured the thing out and got her on the air. This company,
I like to troubleshoot, you
of
know?
course,
You
we
know,
have
trying
to. There's always
you gotta
something
adapt.
going on.
You gotta adapt.
If it's not on this end, it's on the other end. This company should be smooching our little beanbags, this kind of stuff. Keeping the product running, man.
Broadcasting shortly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. The Browns, I saw, extended Stefanski and what's his name's contracts.
Mary says, try the board again.
Try the board again. I've got her potted up. So if I don't hear her, I'll disconnect quickly and then I'll reconnect and I'll see if we're there. Hello, hello?
And she said, never mind.
Nope. Yeah, never mind. But I'll keep her, if she ends up back on the mic, we'll hear her because I'll keep her up on the thing here.
You can reconnect to that Zoom meeting too, Mary, if you're... Oh, she probably can't hear us.
Mm-mm. Alan, you won me a $5 scratch-off because none of the young employees here at Dano's had any clue that you would be here. Yeah, we run into that all the time, and I can never figure out why that is, right? Because we bring a lot of people out when we go places.
Right.
But invariably, at a lot of these establishments, one hand doesn't talk to the other, and I never understand that. We'll get somewhere, and they'll be like, you didn't know we were coming? No. Because there's signs all over. Well, nobody told me. And it's not their fault. Nobody told them. We've all worked retail and service industry. If nobody tells you, you don't know. It's like back in the day, in the very early days, I'm sure Bill can attest, doing stand-up or something, you know. There were places that didn't even know. There was one guy who wanted to do comedy night.
Yeah.
And didn't tell anybody else.
Right. Definitely had those moments.
You had to go to these if you couldn't get a spot on stage, I when I first started out, you stink when you're starting out. I'm not getting on stage at legitimate places. You're going to bars and you're doing, all that stuff. Everybody thinks open mics are all at comedy clubs. They're not. Open mics are like at bars, in the corner of a restaurant, in the banquet room, because one guy wanted to do a comedy night. And so on the one hand, you're like, that's great. I'm glad you want to do that. You're not getting paid. On the other hand, they don't tell anybody, know, because a lot of places have like multiple managers, and one guy goes, hey, we should do this. And then somebody else goes, set it up. That's your night. Set it up. So they do. But nobody else knows what you're talking about.
And I think it's even more prevalent, more shocking with the radio thing because it's such a big promotion. And it just slips through the cracks, and people are like, "Oh, we didn't know you guys were coming."
Didn't know you were coming.
It
happens all the
wild.
time.
All
I'm
the
like,
time.
well, we're here.
We're here.
We are
Doing
here.
it.
Yep.
I had some lady last night losing her mind at my show at Brothers Lounge because she seemed like she was wasted, and she was just talking so loud. And so I was the rest of her group was also talking loud, but every time I talked to them, they're like, okay, we're sorry. But she just from the moment I asked her nicely, I'm always killing people with kindness when it's a situation like this. I'm like, hey, there's a show going on. If you don't want to watch the show,
She's
we
in the
have
room with you.
Yeah, we have, there's the dining room in the front where you can go and be as loud as you want. But in the showroom, when the show's going on and there's 40 other people trying to enjoy the show, we would appreciate if you could keep your,
table talk to a minimum. Yeah.
Don't. And she's like, all we're doing is talking. I'm like, yes, but the whole point is that you're not supposed to be. And she was, and then as she's walking out, she's like, F you, doing that whole thing. And I'm just like, hey,
it's your fault.
I'm just trying to be nice here. And again, all her friends are like, yeah, we get it. But she just had such an attitude about being asked to be quiet.
Well, it's interesting because even somebody who hasn't had a drop doesn't realize how their voice carries.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody's drunk, there's no way they're going to modulate their voice properly.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. It's like,
but it was just.
we're trying to live in a society here.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I asked you just because I asked you to do something doesn't mean I think you're a terrible person.
Right.
It doesn't mean I think you should be hit by a car when you leave and walk out into the street.
Just being respectful to the other people trying to enjoy the show, because there's a
Just-
lot of people trying to enjoy the show, and it was a good show, but it was very disruptive to have these people talking at full volume.
People paying to get in?
No, it's a free show.
Okay.
But it's also, it's a Tuesday night.
It's common courtesy.
It's a common courtesy, and there's another room they can go in. It's not like we were taking up the whole bar. We're in the showroom. There is a dining room that they could have sat in and just enjoyed and talked, and it wouldn't have been a problem. So it was just weird that they wanted to be where all the people were, but didn't want to participate in what was going on in that room. It's just
Yeah.
a really strange thing that people do, where they walk into a performance and act like the performance isn't happening, which
Well, free to enter, I feel like also means free to leave. You're not losing anything.
right.
You know what I mean? Like you didn't pay $40 and get a babysitter and
Yeah.
have dinner. Like just go.
Right. And she could have just gone to the front of the bar and sat there, and she just got so just
This was an older
offended.
lady?
No, she was probably in her mid-30s.
Yeah.
And she
So
just,
older, yeah.
Yeah, she was just really she just couldn't believe that I would ask her to keep her voice down while someone's on stage performing. And again, I did it with
Yeah, hey, ma'am, please.
totally nice. Yes, I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't even call her ma'am because I feel like that's a trigger for some people. I was just like, hey, while the show's going on, if you could just keep your voice down and
And this is not
talk
from the
minimal.
stage.
Yeah.
You're not. This is
No, this is me
Yeah.
whispering to her.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, you a bitch.
By the way, hey, you a bitch. Yeah. Huh. Well, that's a real bummer. Well, I wanted to play you a call, but Mary's not going to hear it.
No, the engineers are very sweaty and running. I don't know if you guys saw it if it was the camera was still on me. A guy came sprinting in here, laid on the ground, and hold on, someone else is coming back in.
I got to watch this.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing what's
Oh,
going on
yeah,
because
yeah,
I have
yeah,
my.
yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
okay.
Did you need something? What? Okay. Never mind.
She's like,
Anyway,
because I
he
need
came-
something.
Right. He came running in here, like laid on the ground, fiddled around, pulled a bunch of wires, and goes, "That should do it." And then he gets up and runs out. And like everything on my board says disconnected. And I was like, was the point of that to disconnect it? And he was like, yes. And he just like went into the next studio.
Wow.
So it looks like they're manually disconnecting every single board in this entire building.
So you're in New York, Market One, right? People
Yeah.
in this business, it's the top, right? It's what a lot of people aspire. Market One, the crown jewel theoretically of this company. How many
Right.
engineers are running around?
4.
4 engineers. I remember when I
Yeah.
first came to Cleveland. Again, this is almost 15 years ago. We had like 8 engineers.
Yeah, there was tons of
That's
them.
the way it was. That's
Mm-hmm.
the way because it wasn't software. It was you were running around. If something was screwed up, somebody had to solder something or
Yeah.
patch it or
Well,
Now
they also have
there's
the
a couple of
software guys
engineers.
here.
Huh?
They also have the software guys.
Well, yeah.
Because those are 2 different companies now. There's engineers that work for iHeart, and then there's software people that work for the
The board,
company
the
that.
Wheatstone.
Yeah, Wheatstone, yeah.
Right.
That's why on the new boards in here, it makes me laugh because we have a QR code on the board and it says on-air tech support. And that goes even further to reminding me that they forget that there are live shows on these stations. Because if you're doing a live show and something goes screwy, I'm going to call tech support on the air and then wait on hold while they,
It's one thing to be
send a patch down the line or something.
It's one thing to be a live show, but when we go to another city, like if Mary's in, Austin or like when was in Cincinnati or Nashville, and I tell them that we're doing an afternoon talk show, they're like, "What?"
Yeah, their
the
heads
hell?
explode. Yeah,
They're
Well,
like,
that and that it's 4.5 hours a day live.
yeah,
right.
And they're like, oh, so you just like track it or you do your segments? And like, no,
no, it's long.
every day.
Yeah, because that's what they're used to. People tracking their shows.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, it's live. Oh, okay. I'm like, I'm really bummed out that you're so surprised by that, by the way.
Oh,
But
'cause it's
yeah.
just not the norm. Especially
Right.
afternoon drive.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, on-air tech support doesn't really, that's for people who are not talking live. They're in there playing music or they've already tracked their breaks or whatever, and they can be on hold with a guy. But, yeah, back in the day, it was what Mary's dealing with, an engineer coming in and, and they're always grumbling to
Yeah,
engineers. And you can't blame them because, like, they're audio engineers at radio stations are always...
They're always asked so much at the worst times.
Yes. Yep, nobody needs them when things are going great.
Yeah.
And they got to get out to the transmitter site or there's a lot of, it's a lot of nonsense. So anytime, I always try to treat the engineers with great deference. And when you had one or two of them.
Not me. I treat him like that lady at my show last night.
Yeah.
Yelling at him.
Hey, get the hell out of here. Yeah, anytime I would see over the course of my career, anytime I was at a radio station and I saw air talent treating the engineers poorly, I was like, what are you doing? Are you insane? Because we're not engineers. I remember the first couple of years I was in radio, I had a friend ask me if I could fix his stereo. And I'm like, I don't know how it all works. I'm in there to make with the ha-has. But,
I picked up a few things over the
yeah,
years.
of course,
but
yeah. By osmosis, you will. That's how we find ourselves in the situation we're in.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, listen, I'm going to break again. I'll have that $50 to Blue Heron Brewery for you a little bit later on. That's a spot in Medina that everyone is crowing about. Tomorrow, I'm going to have those tickets for you